Hi, welcome back to PC Builder. I'm Jason. Now you might think that if you missed Black Friday and all the holiday specials that you're just out of luck, but the reality is that it's still right now an amazing time to build a gaming PC for 1080p, 1440p, and 4K. So we're gonna go through 3 builds starting around $600 and going up to a $2,000 amazing 4K 144Hz gaming experience that you can build right now with incredible deals. Remember, if you get value out of the video, give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe and click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. With that, let's jump into the builds. Before that, this video is sponsored by NordPass. Password hackers want your stuff. Don't be a victim, get NordPass. NordPass makes logging in easy and secure across multiple devices. Stop forgetting passwords. NordPass stores them all in one place, allowing you to easily log in with their autofill feature. Quickly generate unique, secure passwords for every site. Store credit card and even personal details in your encrypted vault. Get your exclusive NordPass deal, plus an additional month for free by using the link in the video description or use code PCBuilder at checkout. Let's jump into the $660 build. Now, this is the build that will either do 60 FPS or higher at 1440p in all titles, or if you want to turn it down to 1080p and get a lot of frames, you certainly can do that as well. Remember, if you're playing easy to run titles like World of Warcraft, League of Legends, Valorant, and others, you don't need that powerful GPU. It's just really if you're focused on really hard to run games like Cyberpunk, Microsoft Flight Simulator, those kinds of games, then you're going to look at more like 60 FPS at 1440p or considering to turn it down to 1080p for a lot higher FPS. For the platform, we're going to go with the i3-12100F. Certainly could go Ryzen 5600 or 5500 with a B550 motherboard instead. I do like the i3-12100F here because we want to spend as little as we can on a CPU. Remember, building a gaming PC, you want to make sure that you get the biggest, fastest graphics card you can, and then simply buy a CPU that's not going to bottleneck it. In this case, the i3-12100F is going to give us plenty of performance for the graphics card level we're looking for right now. $106, comes with an included stock cooler that's absolutely adequate. You can check out our i3-12100F build for more information specific to the i3-12100F, but for $106, it's really tough to beat. For the motherboard, we're just going to go with the cheapest B660M that's a decent board that actually has some VRM heatsinks on it. I know there are some boards out there without heatsinks. I wouldn't necessarily buy those. Just get something that's going to be at least durable enough. That's the ASRock B660M right here, $99 right now. Comes with plenty of rear panel USB connectivity, comes with a front panel USB Type-C. Entry-level audio on these boards is absolutely fine. Remember, if you are going to upgrade to like an i5-12400F, which I don't recommend right now because they are more expensive than the Ryzen 5600 for the same performance, but if you did go with a higher performance CPU, I would make sure you get the right motherboard. Check out our i5-12400 build for more on which specific budget B660s are going to run that CPU at the full frequency. But for our i3-12400F, this is absolutely fine and will get the full performance. For the graphics card, we're looking for an RX 6650 XT or RX 6600 XT. The 6600 XT has largely been phased out by the slightly faster 6650 XT, and you can find them for right around $270 up to $300 US. Right now, we're going with the ASRock Challenger D. In fact, I have the 6600 XT version of this selling over at Newegg for $284. Now, you actually do even get 2 games with this with the select RX 6000 series purchases. So you get not only 2 games, but you get the performance that actually beats out an RTX 3060 for only $284. For the rest of the build, we're honestly just looking for the best, cheapest components that we can get. I'm going to go for RAM for 3200 CL16 RAM, 2x8GB kit. I'm honestly looking for the cheapest one. This Team Group Z-Force, it looks really nice. It's only about 50 cents more than the absolute cheapest, kind of crummy looking memory. So I went ahead and got that. You can get some RGB kits for about $7 more for like $47, $48. This is about $41. And if you want, you can go 3600 CL18. It's essentially the same speed as 3200 CL16. If you were to consider stepping up in performance here, 3600 CL16 is actually not that expensive right now. I've seen some kits as low as about $60. For the SSD, we're simply going the cheapest M.2 SSD we can find. I know some SATA drives out there are like $4 or $5 cheaper. Just go with an NVMe. 512 gigabytes will get you started. Consider 1 terabyte if you want to kind of move up in terms of your storage. Team Group MP33, Silicon Power A60, Western Digital SN570, all those are really good drives. Just find the cheapest one, honestly, and that'll do you fine. For the PC case, I just just decided to go with a super cheap, amazing RGB case. I've used this in a lot of our demonstration builds recently. It's got an RGB strip on the side. It comes with 3 RGB fans on the bottom that's where the airflow comes from in this one. And it's got 1 rear exhaust for only $49. Really, really good value. That being said, maybe you don't like that one. There's like all kinds of different cases that you can use that are ultra budget. Sama's got a case with 4 ARGB fans. It's an all white case. There's also a black version of it. Montech X3 Mesh. Again, this is another case that I know Gamers Nexus took a look at right now for $59 with the $5 promo code. But Phoenix has one of these 4 ARGB fan cases that have a bottom PSU shroud. Somewhere between $49 and $70 is probably what you're looking to spend. For the power supply, we actually don't need that much power given the low power CPU and relatively low power for its performance GPU. We're looking for about 550 watts here. Unfortunately, a lot of PSUs have completely sold out during the holiday shopping season, and they haven't come back in stock yet. That being said, there still are a couple of values out there, like the Cooler Master Watt 550. 80 plus bronze. This is a C tier rated unit, absolutely fine for a build of this level, and it even has a couple semi-modular cables with it, which is really nice. This would be a super easy build to put together for $660, and you can jump in immediately and start playing your favorite games at 1440p 60 FPS. Remember those easy to run titles, you're gonna get 100 plus FPS in like Fortnite and other things, or you could crank amazing FPS out at 1080p in games like Call of Duty Warzone and others. As a next step to upgrade this, I would probably look to add a RX 6700 XT if I wanted even higher frame rate, and I would also consider going to a Ryzen 5600 with a cheap B550 motherboard instead to get about 10% more performance at that GPU level. In terms of pairing a monitor for it, if we're looking at 1080p, we can actually get one really cheap. The AOC 27G2 SP is only $179, and the 24-inch version, if you want to come down just a little bit, is $20 less, $159. Those are pretty insane values, and definitely the 1080p monitors that I would be recommending around 165 Hz. For 1440p gaming monitors, honestly, I don't see how you can beat the HP X27Q. $250. This is an incredible entry-level 1440p gaming monitor, and if I were buying an entry-level system, this is the monitor that I would be focused on. Let's jump into an $1,100 super high frame rate 1440p gaming PC build. So if you want super high frame rates in your competitive titles, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Fortnite, whatever Valorant you play, then this is the build that will absolutely deliver for you. Again, grab yourself a super high refresh rate monitor, like 240 Hz monitor out there for this kind of PC build. Now, the big challenge here for our $1,100 build is what graphics card are we going to use, because most of the GPUs, the 3080s, the 3090s, even the 3070s have largely sold through, and they are super overpriced at this point. 6900 XT, 6950 XT, they're gone as well. 6800 XT is gone, but there still are the RX 6800s out there for about $500. So we can get the Power Color Fighter one right now for $500 over at Amazon, also on sale at Newegg. There is a 6800 XT as well for about $70 more that I would also consider in this build. You're going to get amazing performance out of either one of these at those competitive shooters. Now, I've decided to pull a little bit of a trick here, and we're going to take advantage of some of these super cheap ASRock B550 motherboards out there that have a lot of features on them, but they don't sell, and they sell at significantly cheaper prices because they don't have BIOS flashback on them, so they won't work for the 5800 X3D more than likely. They won't work for the 5600, but they will work for the original Ryzen CPUs that came out, like the 5600X. So for only $129, I can pick up a board like the ASRock Phantom Gaming B550 Velocita with amazing features on it, upgraded audio, upgraded VRMs, really good rear panel USB connectivity, just about everything you need, including a front panel USB Type-C header. And I compare it with the Ryzen 5600X, which is only about $20 more than the 5600, gives us slightly more performance. And the total package comes out cheaper than if I bought a competing B550 with similar features by Gigabyte, by ASUS, or by MSI. I did decide to spend another $20 on an id Cooling SE214 XT. This is an ARGB cooler. It's a slight upgrade from the included box cooler. It's going to give us slightly better performance. It's going to look a lot nicer. It's going to sound a little bit better. If you want even more performance, look at the Deepcool AK400. That's a super high performance tower air cooler. And of course, you can't even go up. You can look at a liquid cooler, but we're trying to keep this relatively affordable. So for the rest of the build, I simply tried to kind of premiumize it a little bit of RGB here and there without overspending. Let's just punch through. For the RAM, we really don't need more than 3200 CL16. Again, 2x8GB kit is absolutely fine. So for $48, I went with this Alloy Warhawk kit, currently on sale over at Newegg. You can find RGB kits for about $50-ish or so. And I decided, why not? Let's spend about 10 bucks more, get a nice RGB kit. If you want, you could go 3600 CL16 here. You could go 32 gigabytes of RAM as well. You're just not going to see any additional performance over this kit. For the SSD, I simply went with one of the cheaper PCIe Gen 4 drives. That's the Kingston NV2 1TB. Right now selling over at Amazon for $58. It's pretty insane to me that you can buy a Gen 4 SSD M.2 drive now for $58 for 1TB. For the case, I went with a Fantex Eclipse G360A. This is a phenomenal case. It's got a nice RGB strip on the bottom, absolutely nice PSU shroud on it, 3 included ARGB fans. What else do you really need? Right now, still on sale over at Newegg for $89 after the $10 rebate. You can also buy it off Amazon without the rebate for $99. We're gonna throw in 3 id cooling ARGB fans. That's right, 320 millimeter fans, ARGB for $25. And these are the 5-volt 3-pin connectors. So we're gonna be able to daisy chain all these together without having to have an ARGB controller, which is really nice. For the PSU, I went with the Enermax Revolution DF 650 watt. That's all we need is 650 watts. And this unit's finally back in stock. A lot of the higher end, nicer A-tier rated PSUs like the Revolution DF have been completely sold out or really redonkulous prices. So $79 for 650 watts at A-tier rating, fully modular, this is a great deal. The big question is what monitor to pair with right now, as most of the 240 hertz or better 1440p gaming monitors have completely sold out. So the monitors I would be looking at, Gigabyte M27Q-X, when it comes back in stock, it keeps coming in and out of stock around $399 to $420. Really, really good one to pick up. Alternatively, just go with the best, which is the Samsung Odyssey G7. $599 right now for the 32-inch. This is a pretty good deal and it's still available. But what if you've got about $2,000 or so and you want to build an amazing 4K 144 hertz gaming PC that's capable of doing that and like all the titles? So you're looking for an RTX 4080, you're looking for an RX 7900 XTX. What build should you be putting together? Well, I'm focused right now on the RTX 4080. It's actually in stock right now for the first time in the US. Other than the Zotac models, we have cards like the Ventus GeForce RTX 4080. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's not selling, Jason. It's not. It's been selling perfectly fine, at least in the United States. Maybe outside the US it hasn't been selling, but it's been pretty much out of stock other than third-party, completely not reputable sellers selling it for crazy prices. So for $1,259 right now, we can get the MSI Ventus GeForce one. The PNY one at MSRP has been back ordered right now, but there's the Gigabyte ones are now in stock, and then there's some Zotac models. And that's a new development, so that's great news for us. I would pair that with a Ryzen 7600X. Now you could also do a 5800X 3D, and we did a whole build on the channel, check that one out, or an i5 13600K would be my other option if you want to go Intel. We did a whole build on that, you can check that out. But I decided let's focus on a platform that has future upgradability, where we might be able to drop in a 8600X or 9600X or whatever they're going to call the next generation of CPUs in the future, since we want to keep this build going. So I went with the Ryzen 5 7600X. You can get this right now over at Newegg for just $239 with the $10 promo code. That is absolutely insane for this level of performance. To that, I'm going to pair the Asus TUF Gaming B650 Plus Wi-Fi. This is a really phenomenal motherboard with all the features that we're going to need, including upgraded audio. It's got an ALC 1200 audio codec on it. Very, very nice. You can also look at the Tomahawk B650 if you want to get an ALC 4080 or 1220 audio codec. This Asus TUF Gaming, also very nice motherboard. For the RAM, I'm going to go with the Alloy Blade RGB kit 5600 CL36, relatively fast, $89. That's right, DDR5 memory. This is why these builds are now a thing where they weren't a thing before, because the RAM was so stupidly expensive. Now I go through why this is good RAM for a 7600X or 7700X in our recent build video. So I'll leave a link to that down in the video description if you want the deep dives. But this is the kind of RAM I would be looking for. In testing, we found that 5200 CL40 or faster is really all you're going to need to get the most performance out of most of these GPUs, especially especially when we're dealing with resolutions at 1440p or 4K, where there's no CPU bottleneck whatsoever at 4K. We're GPU bound there anyway. For the cooler, we're gonna go with the Thermalright Peerless Assassin 120 SE. You can also get the ARGB version of this, kind of going in and out of stock at Amazon for about $40. This one's $36. Really phenomenal cooler, and this is what I would recommend if you don't want to turn the CPU into eco mode. Again, we go through the cooling issues with that, including whether or not you should undervolt it, which I do not recommend people who don't know what they're doing undervolting their CPU. Just flip on eco mode if you want, or get a nice cooler like the Thermalright Peerless Assassin that's got 6 heat pipes. It's a 2 fin stack cooler, 2 fan, 120 millimeter fans. This is going to be all you really need. For the rest of the build, we're just looking for good performance. I went with a relatively good Samsung 970 EVO Plus 1 terabyte of fast Gen 3 storage for only about $87. That's a pretty good price right there. And then for the case, I went with the Deepcool CK560. We recently built our 5800X3D build in this. We really did like this case quite a bit. My wife really liked it. $89. There's a black version of it too if you're not into white cases. Again, 3 ARGB front fans. Comes with a non-RGB rear fan, but you can decide to swap that out. That's an advantage over the other cases that don't come with one whatsoever. And for the PSU, because again, the 7600X uses a lot less energy than like the 13600K, then we can go with an 850 watt unit here. I went with a Fantex amp 850 watt. This is A tier rated. Right now over at Amazon for about $125, $139. We can also go up the ladder to like a 1000 watt PSU for another $40 if that would make us feel more comfortable, or if we're gonna get a 4090 for this thing. All told, we've got an amazing gaming PC for right now $2,187. That is an amazing performance level given that $2,000 is what I paid for an RTX 3080 12 gigabyte a year ago during the GPU crisis because we needed one for the channel. That's the cost of this entire amazing 4K gaming build. That's how far we've come. That's what a great time it is to build a gaming PC in 2022 and early 2023. Let's talk about what gaming monitors you'd be looking for. Well, on the budget side, look at that $449 for the Gigabyte M28U. I would pick this thing up in an absolute heartbeat. We keep putting it out on our deals on our YouTube channel. So check out our Twitter as well. Follow us on Twitter if you want these kind of deals in your Twitter feed. Amazing deal, $449. I can't believe that 4K 144 hertz monitors are so cheap. If you want to spend about another $150, you can get the 32-inch version of it. This has come down to $599. Really, really good price for that. Alternatively, you can go with something like the Acer Predator here for only about $60 more. A slightly higher bandwidth on it on the HDMI 2.1, so probably slightly more appropriate for like a console. That being said, either one of these would be great for console, and we're talking about PC gaming here. Or if you want a big screen experience, the LG C2 OLED 42 inches, $796 right now. Totally insane. There's some great sales going on the LG C2 OLED. Those are our builds for December. Let me know down in the comments, what are you looking to build? Are you looking to build now? Or are you waiting for GPUs that might be coming out in the early part of 2023? And if you got value out of the video, give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe and click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. And if you missed our recent Boost My Build video where we take your PC part picker list, we tear them up, we put them back together, and we massively increase your performance, then check out this video right here. You might learn something about building your next PC in 2023. And we'll catch you on the next one.